Okay guys, I'm going to start off just with bare skin, nothing on the skin, and then I'm going to move into a little bit of hydration and luminosity. I'm going to be using these are the Revlon Photo Ready Rose Glow Hydrating and Illuminating Primer. So we're going to pop this on. It's in the shade Rose Quartz. Let's drop it on the skin like an Instagrammer, and then I'm going to blend this in. Okay, my thoughts on that is that it's quite hydrating actually. I would like a little bit more dew, but that's because I'm me and I like my skin to practically look oily, really dewy. But I feel like my skin's dehydrated, it soaks up anything and everything ends up looking very matte on me. But it is really nice. I'm going to move on to foundation. For foundation, this is difficult because I love Estee Lauder Double Wear, I love Face and Body, I love Too Faced. There's so many foundations that I love, but I feel like something that I've been reaching for a lot recently, when I'm going out in the evenings more so, is illamasqua Skin Base. I do love this foundation. I'm in the shade SB13. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this on to the face, and then I'm just going to use my beauty blender to blend it all over the face and the neck area, just to make sure that everything is one blank canvas for the day. The illamasqua Skin Base Visage, I've got to just give it to them. This foundation is amazing. It's one of my favorite foundations. It's my skin color but in a bottle, which is quite difficult for me to find. And it's just beautiful. Like, it just looks like skin. It's very similar, I would say, to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I've run out of that one. I haven't repurchased it as of yet, but this one is like a dupe for that. I think the illamasqua one's a little bit more on the pricier side, but if you're wearing a foundation every single day and you want your skin to look bomb every single time, the Base Visage is probably it. Anyways, I'm going to move on to concealing a little bit. Now, we're not going to do my under eyes. What I tend to do is I take the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Eraser, and I tend to take this in the shade Tan. Now, this is a little bit darker for me, but I will just pop a little bit on my chin and just a tiny bit on my upper lip area. The only reason being is because this is the area that has a little bit of pigmentation. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of pigmentation going on, but it's fine, we can cover it. Now, this is a little bit darker, a tiny bit darker than my natural skin tone, a little bit more on the orangier side, and orangier side, and I can use it for underneath my eyes, but I prefer a different one. But I do love these concealers, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly blend that out, and then you'll see that it just kind of counteracts, like it gets rid of any ashiness that I may have. And I like to just do this as an added step and blend it in to my foundation. Okay, so it makes the tiniest of differences, but it does make me feel better. We're going to move on to concealing the under eyes. As you can see, the Base Visage does a lot of the work for you already. We don't need it too much. But my favourite concealer of all time is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I use this all the time. And this is in the shade Warm Sand. It's a really nice color for my skin. It's pretty much the same as my skin, kind of brightens a tiny bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this in at the inner corners, do a little dot in my inner corners, and I'm going to blend that out. And now for a tiny bit of brightness, but this is like my skin color but a little bit brighter as well. I just want to include, what am I trying to say? I just want to add a little bit of highlight, but I don't want to go with my other highlighters that are like, you know, 3 or 4 shades of lighter. So I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder. This is the Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer in the shade 4N Medium Deep. And I'm just going to pop this again just underneath my eyes and a tiny bit down the center as well. Okay guys, so apparently by now you guys should have guessed it. I'm a fan of like products that are not dramatic straight off the bat. They're like small changes here and there, and I like to build things up. I just feel like your skin looks a lot more effortless and a lot more natural if you don't go in with like a really heavy hand, or don't go in with a product that's super pigmented straight off the bat. We're going to move on to brows. For brows, I'm going to be doing my brows with Precisely My Brow Benefit, and I've actually been using a shade 4. I really like the shade 4. I used to use 5. That one's really nice for a stronger brow, but for something quite soft glam, I'd prefer a 4. Then I'm just going to go ahead and set them in place, especially the tail ends where your hair ties tends to kind of go up. This is just going to set them in place so it doesn't move. Now, because I am someone that does cream bronze, you can miss this step out completely. You can go in with powder. I like to use Iconic London's Pigment Stick in 4.3. This is a little bit lighter than the one that I used to use, which was 5.1. And it's just a lot easier, a lot more manageable. So I'm just going to pop this on the outskirts of the face and also down the sides of my nose and my chin. And then I'm going to blend this out. Now I'm going to move on to cream blush. I'm going to use this one by Shiseido, and this is called Sonoyo so I've butchered that name, 01, but I'll leave everything that I'm using down below. It's just a beautiful kind of pinky coral color. So I'm just going to apply this to the apples of the cheeks and then blend it up towards my temples. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I was so close to not filming this look. The only reason being is my birthday glam is going to be glam that I kind of wear anyway. I'm not going to do anything that is crazy glam. I might do a little bit of a glitter pop. It's going to be warm, it's going to be earthy, it's going to be very wearable. I asked you guys on Instagram and you really wanted to see it, so here it is. I'm going to be using Patricia Bright's palette with Revolution. This is the Rich in Life palette. I can't stress to you guys how much I love this palette. Like, if I go away, this palette is coming with me because it's got all the shades that I would love and would love to wear. It's got everything from neutral day to evening for me in here. The only thing that is missing is glitter, but I don't really like glitter in a palette. I prefer that in a pot anyway. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to actually start off with 100% Cocoa, which is this beautiful warm shade up here. I'm going to use my blending brush and I'm just going to pop this colour into the crease. Now that that's on my crease, it's an immediate smoke. On a daily I would do this and then just wear lashes and I'd be good to go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this, and I always do this in the day and in the evening. I will always just take the shadow and pop it into my nose contour area as well. I'm also going to take this shade on a smaller blending brush, and we are just going to smoke out our lower lash line, because who would I be if I didn't? Now what I'm going to do is, this is a little bit of a risk because I've actually never tried this product, but I received it in the mailer today. This is the Hourglass Scattered Light Glitter Shadow in foil, and it's a beautiful kind of goldy bronzy shade, just something that I would love. So I'm just going to pop this on the eyelids, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a fluffier brush and kind of blend it out. I don't want anything like a cut crease. I want this to be a very soft foil on the lid. Okay, now that that gold is on really nice and soft, I'm going to add a little bit of inner corner highlighter on, because I just feel like it just beautifies a look. I don't even know if that's a word, but it just makes everything look super pretty. So I'm going to go back in Patricia's palette, and this is the shade Darlings. We're going to add this into the inner corner, and I'll add a tiny bit just on to my brow bone as well. I'm going to be adding a little bit of glitter, a little bit of glitz and glamour, and I'm going to be using this Stila. I've not picked this up in a while. The Gold Goddess Magnificent Metals, I believe. Yeah, that. And what I'm going to do, the secret to how I apply glitter is, firstly, I prefer something that's got a liquid to it, so it's like a liquid glitter, and then I take a fluffy brush, a fluffy but dense brush, if that sort of makes sense. It could also be a fluffy brush, but you want to have a bit of control over it. I'm going to apply this to the back of my hand. I'm going to dab my brush into it, and then I'm just going to press the glitter on to my lid. That way it's not chunky and you've not got a thick layer of glitter on the lid, but you've got a little bit of sparkle. Okay, now that the glitter's on, I think it's worth mentioning that I did add a little bit, a tiny bit of the Anastasia. This is the Day 2 Loose Glitter. It's got more of kind of like a goldy but whitey fleck to it, and I added that just in the center, so it does make the tiniest of difference in real life. I don't think you can see it much on camera, but the eyes are all glitz and glam. Now, something that I tend to do if I'm not going to wear liner, sometimes liner stresses me out and I don't think I'm going to be wanting to deal with it on the day. So what I tend to do is I will just take a flat brush or an angle brush, pop it in the darkest brown that I have. Sometimes I mix it with the black. Today I'm going to mix it, and I'm just going to line the outer half of my lash line. That's just going to make it a little bit easier when we've got falsies on, or just to blend everything. Now I'm going to add a little bit of mascara. Of course I'm going to use Maybelline Lash Sensational. Let's just coat our lashes, and I am going to be wearing falsies, so I'm just going to give them a few coats. Let's add my falsies on. I'm going to be using Doll Beauty. I love Doll Beauty. I go through phases. Does anyone go through phases where you're like, you love this pair of lashes and you'll use them practically for like 10 days, 2 weeks, and then they've gone because you've literally messed them up, you've worn them too much, and then you move on to another brand? That is so me. Right now I'm loving Doll Beauty. These are the lashes. I've actually worn them 3 times, and they are Selena. Oh my gosh. They're so beautiful. So I'm just going to pop these on. Now that lashes are safely and securely on, I'm going to apply a little bit of powder underneath my eyes just to brighten them a tiny bit, and it will just set them in place as well throughout the night. I'm going to be using the Too Faced. This is the Born This Way multi-use complexion powder in the shade Sand, and using a very kind of dense but circular brush. This is the Morphe by Jeffree Star one. I'm just going to press this underneath my eyes. That powder by far is one of my favorite powders. It just kind of like brightens, smooths out. It makes your under eyes look flawless, but it's not anything cakey, and also it doesn't have flashback, which is amazing. So then I'm just going to apply a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes as well. Well, this is embarrassing. I've just noticed that I didn't really blend out my bronze cream contour underneath my chin. So apologies if that's been annoying you throughout the whole of this video. I'm sorry, I didn't blend it out. Let's do a touch of highlighter. I'm going to be using the highlighter by Mercier. This is in Discretion. I'm just going to pop it more so just on the tops of my cheekbones and down my cupid's bow. I mean down the bridge of my nose and my cupid's bow. So I like that highlighter because it's nothing crazy. It's not shocking. It's not got any glitter flecks in it, which I like. It's just more of kind of like a sheen. When you turn, you can see it. And that's what I prefer. Also, what I'm going to do quickly, I've just noticed, I'm just going to go over with my blusher brush and kind of just go over it. Because what happens is, I don't want that kind of streak of highlight and then it lays on top of your blusher and your bronzer. I'm not a fan of that look. So I'm just going to quickly blend that over. Moving on to lips. Of course, I'm going to do a nude glossy. That's what I love. So I'm going to use the LA Colors lip liner in the shade Chocolate. I use this all the time. You guys are probably sick of it. But it's super affordable and it's just a really good lip liner. If you're more of a tan skin, it goes with nudes perfectly. So I'm just going to line my lips with this. Then for a little bit of colour to the lip and to kind of blend this lip liner out as well, I'm going to be using L'Oreal's Colour Rich Ultra Matte Lipstick in No Dick Touch. I believe that's what it's called. Again, I'll leave it down below. Just a beautiful kind of nudie shade. So I'm just going to pop this on. And now that shade is super beautiful on its own. If you wanted a shade that was more matte, but it's not dry and it's really, really comfortable. Feels more like a kind of satin, but it's definitely matte. Looks more mauve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a little bit of my Glossier. This is the lip gloss, but I can't read what it says. It is in Red Rouge. I'm just going to apply this over the top. Now, because I'm going to be a little bit extra, I'm just going to apply a little bit of this Fenty Gloss in Confetti. Just in the center, but you don't need to do this. This is so extra. And then I'm going to spritz my face with a little bit of Revolutions. This is my favorite spray. It's a Superfruit Replenishing Essence Spray and it smells amazing. So I'm just going to give my face a little spritz. And then the final step, I was going to do it off camera, but I figured I would just show you guys. I'm going to just style my baby hairs now. It's nothing crazy. I like to just brush them out. And then using my VO5, this is the Wet Look Styling Gel, I like to just kind of bring them forward so my forehead doesn't look as big. I feel like it doesn't. And then just style them really nicely. I feel like when you're taking photos, or just when you've got your hair sleeked back, it looks really nice if you've got all of this kind of nicely arranged. Again, really small difference. I don't even know if you can tell, but they're just like really, really small baby hairs that I kind of just brush out of the way. I would love to learn how to do them properly, but I just don't know yet. So this is how I do it anyway when I've got my hair sleeked back. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed getting ready for me for my birthday. Let me know what you think of it down below. And also please do let me know that even if they are quite simple looks or looks that I just genuinely love creating, do you guys want to see that, or do you want to see stuff that is completely different? Because I don't want to do anything that's not me. Let me know down below. Also follow me on Instagram. I do upload there every day and I upload on my stories every hour, practically every hour. So you guys are going to hear from me. And that is it, guys. I love you guys so very much and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.